Smoking is injurious to health. Smoking causes cancer. धूम्रपान स्वास्थ्य के लिए हानिकारक है. धूम्रपान कर्क रोग का कारण है.
In the heart of a bustling world, where routine often obscures the extraordinary, there are individuals who transcend boundaries, who embark on extraordinary journey, and leave an indelible mark upon history. Born in the crucible of a nation's quest for independence, a visionary emerged, a voice that resonated through the ages, calling for liberation, not just of a land, but of the human spirit itself. An intellectual firebrand who challenged convention and dared to dream of a brighter future. His words ignited minds, propelling a nation towards the path of liberation and self-realization. A poet whose verses echo the aspirations of a nation, a philosopher who delved into the mysteries of existence, and a fierce freedom fighter who challenged the oppressors with unwavering resolve. Beyond boundaries and divisions, he envisioned a place where humanity's diverse threads interwove, a living testament to unity, sustainability, and spiritual growth. Auroville, the embodiment of his vision. Aurobindo Ghosh, a young Indian man in his early 20s, stands at the edge of a ship, his eyes fixed on distant shores of India. The year is 1893. The sound of seagulls and crashing waves fill the air. The ship slowly approaches the harbor. As the ship docks, Aurobindo steps onto Indian soil. His heart filled with a mix of anticipation and nostalgia. The bustling crowd, vibrant colors, and chaotic energy of Calcutta engulf him. Aurobindo walks through the lively streets of Calcutta, taking in the sights and the sounds. People bustle around him, immersed in their daily lives. He notices the poverty, the struggles, and the British presence. Bindu's mother, Swan Lata, an elegant woman with a warm smile, embraces him tightly as he enters his childhood home. She holds him for a moment, cherishing his return after years of separation. He sits at a desk, surrounded by books and papers. He writes fervently, penning his thoughts on the political situation in India. His face reflects determination and resolve. Pinto, addressing a group of young Indians gathered in a dimly lit hall.
We must rise above our chains, embrace our heritage and fight for our independence. It is time to awaken the spirit of our nation.
His passionate speech captivates them, igniting a spark of revolution in their hearts. In the newspaper office, he hands over an article he has written to the editor, who reads it with great interest. As each day dawned, Aurobindo's unwavering commitment to the cause of full independence against British rule grew stronger He fervently engaged in rallies, tirelessly voicing his demands for freedom. Furthermore, his dedication led him to prestigious Baroda State Service, where he embarked on a transformative journey of motivating college students. Aurobindo, alongside a passionate crowd of Indian activists, raises his voice in rallying cry for freedom. They wave flags, sing patriotic songs, and demand an end to British rule. A group of British officials discusses Aurobindo's growing influence and activism. Their faces show concern and a sense of urgency.
We must suppress his movement. He's a threat to our control.
Lying on his bed, his eyes filled with determination, the weight of the nation rested on his shoulders.
The path to freedom is treacherous, but our dreams will guide us.
Aurobindo Ghosh, a young and passionate Bengali nationalist, in his mid-20s, sits at a cluttered desk, writing fervently. The walls are adorned with images of Indian freedom fighters.
Unite the people, awaken their spirit and reclaim our freedom.
Aurobindo stands on a makeshift stage, addressing a large crowd of enthusiastic men and women.
We must shed the shackles of British oppression and revive our glorious heritage. Let us rise as a united force and reclaim our rightful place in history.
Aurobindo, surrounded by a group of dedicated writers and activists, plans the next issue of the revolutionary newspaper Bande Mataram.
Our words have the power to awaken the dormant fire within every Indian soul. We will expose the injustices, ignite the flames of revolution, and lead our people towards independence.
In secret meeting room, he meets with members of Anusilan Samiti, a revolutionary group.
We must tread cautiously, balancing our resistance with wisdom. Our fight is not only against British rule but also against the apathy and division that plague our society. Our struggle is for a truly free and united
Engages in a debate with a British colonial officer, challenging the notion of British supremacy.
Auroville has eroded our cultural identity, exploited our resources, and stifled our progress. The time has come for us to reclaim our destiny and shape our own future.
Khudiram and Prafulla immerse themselves in profound conversation, delving into the profound teaching of the illustrious Indian nationalist leader, the revered Shri Aurobindo Ghosh. His ideals have become the guiding light, fueling their unwavering determination. Word of their impassioned discussion spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of those around them. Meanwhile, in the backdrop, a figure looms large. Douglas Kingsford, a British magistrate notorious for his brutal treatment of Indian nationalists. Khudiram and Prafulla, fueled by their convictions, conspire to confront him. Cloaked in the disguise of a newspaper boy, Khudiram cautiously approaches a passing carriage, his heart pounding with nervous anticipation. With a swift and calculated motion, he hurls a bomb toward the carriage, only to realize that Kingsford vehicle remained unoccupied. Tragically, the explosion claims the lives of two innocent British women, casting a somber shadow over the fateful act. Guilt and sated by unintended consequence, Khudiram and Prafulla confront their remorse in a somber exchange. The tightening grip of fate leaves no room for complacency. Escape becomes their sole salvation. Their hopes crumble when a traitor betrays their whereabouts, triggering a relentless pursuit by the British authorities. Outnumbered, they engage in a fierce firefight, but Prafulla falls victim to mortal wounds, leaving Khudiram to fend for himself briefly. Hunted relentlessly, Khudiram races against time, his resilience waning under the relentless pursuit. Despite a valiant resistance, he succumbs to the overpowering might of the authorities and is captured. Confined within Alipur Central Jail, Khudiram awaits his impending trial. The courtroom crackles with tension as this young revolutionary confronts a British judicial system determined to make an example of him. The trial commences with Khudiram standing resolute, embodying the spirit of a nation yearning for freedom. His defense lawyer Chitranjan Das skillfully argues against the unfair trial, exposing the oppressive nature. Despite the valiant defense, Khudiram is found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. His sacrifice becomes a rallying point for future revolutionaries and nationalists in their fight for independence. Ghosh, a resolute man in his 30s, stands tall in the dock of a crowded courtroom. The year is 1908. The atmosphere crackles with tension and anticipation.
Shri Aurobindo Ghosh, you are charged with sedition against the British Empire. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty, Your Honor. My actions are driven by a deep love for our motherland and the pursuit of her greatness.
Aurobindo's defense attorney, Mr. Chitranjan Das, a seasoned lawyer, steps forward, ready to present his case.
Your Honor, Shri Aurobindo Ghosh is not a mere revolutionary. He is a visionary who seeks to rekindle the greatness of our ancient civilization. His words and actions are fueled by a deep love for India and her people.
Aurobindo sits alone in his prison cell, enveloped by darkness. The weight of the trial and responsibility he carries for the future of his nation bear down on him. Yet, his determination remains unshaken.
India's greatness lies dormant, awaiting its awakening. Our struggle is not merely against a foreign oppressor, but to reignite the flame of our heritage.
The prosecution attorney, Audley Norton, a formidable British lawyer, presents his case against Aurobindo. He attempts to portray Aurobindo as a dangerous agitator, emphasizing the potential threat to the stability of British Empire.
Gentlemen of the jury, we cannot tolerate such subversive activities. Aurobindo Ghosh's words and deeds pose a direct challenge to our rule and must be met with swift and decisive action.
Outside the courtroom, a crowd of Indian activists gathers, their faces filled with determination. Banners are raised, bearing slogans of freedom and readiness of India's greatness. The jury deliberates, their expression serious and contemplative. The room is enveloped in anticipation as they reach their verdict.
The jury has reached a decision. We find the accused, Shri Aurobindo Ghosh, not guilty of the charges of sedition.
Aurobindo emerges from the courtroom, welcomed by an ecstatic crowd. The spirit of free silence and the belief in India's potential are palpable in the air.
This victory is not mine alone. It belongs to every Indian soul yearning for a renaissance, for the dawn of a new era.
Shri Aurobindo, deep in meditation, experiences a profound spiritual opening. The divine presence fills his consciousness, urging him to embark on a transformative journey.
Go, Aurobindo. Your path lies beyond the boundaries of this tumultuous world. Find solace in the spiritual depths of Pondicherry.
The journey to reignite India's greatness begins with awakening the greatness within ourselves.
Shri Aurobindo, with a resolute determination, decides to answer the divine calling, leaving behind his revolutionary endeavors and political engagements. He sails forth, arrives in Pondicherry, seeking solace and space for introspection. He establishes an ashram, a sanctuary for seekers of truth and spiritual awakening.
India's greatness lies not in the past alone but in the infinite possibilities of the future.
Aurobindo leads a group of devoted disciples in meditation, their hearts united in the pursuit of inner transformation and reawakening of India's culture and spiritual legacy.
Aurobindo, your purpose here transcends the physical plane. Embrace the Mother's presence and together manifest a new conscience for humanity.
Aurobindo delivers powerful discourses, urging his followers to rise above sectarian divides and work towards a unified vision for the nascent resurgence.
It is time for us to shed the shackles of ignorance and embrace the light of knowledge, for only then can we ignite the flame of India's true potential.
The mother, born Mirra Alfassa, a disciple turned collaborator of Shri Aurobindo, arrives at the ashram. Her aura of grace and devotion captivates everyone. Shri Aurobindo and the mother together conduct profound spiritual practices, blending their energy to create a powerful spiritual force that transforms lives. They engage in intense discussion, meticulously mapping out the path of their spiritual evolution, seeking to manifest a new world. Now the ashram becomes of a hub of activity, attracting seekers from around the globe. Shri Aurobindo writings and teaching gain worldwide recognition. Aurobindo's physical presence departs, but his spiritual presence continues to inspire and guide the mother and the ashram community. The mother assumes the mantle of spiritual leadership, dedicating herself to fulfilling Shri Aurobindo's vision, nurturing the growth of the ashram and its inhabitants. She tirelessly engages in various activities, from education to healthcare, emphasizing the importance of integral development and service to humanity. Aurobindo travels to remote Indian villages, connecting with the people at the grassroots level, understanding their struggles and working towards empowering them through education and self-sufficiency.
The flame of India's greatness will be rekindled by the collective awakening of her people, by embracing the values of truth, love and unity.
Aurobindo, weakened by years of incarceration, walks through the streets of Pondicherry, surrounded by admirers. His presence commands respect, and his words inspire all who encounter him. Finally, the day came on August 15, 1947, when India achieved independence from British rule. As the nation rejoiced, the revered philosopher and freedom fighter Shri Aurobindo delivered a momentous message on All India Radio, inspiring hope and envisioning a prosperous future for the newly liberated India. Aurobindo lies on his deathbed, surrounded by his disciples. His face radiates peace and fulfillment, knowing that his eternal quest to reignite India's greatness will continue through the hearts and action of those he has inspired.
I pass the torch to the generations to come, carrying India's flame of greatness, illuminate the path to freedom and enlightenment, embrace truth, compassion and unity, seek knowledge and overcome adversity, follow your passions and strive for the welfare of all, connect with nature and nurture love. Unite embracing diversity, awaken your divinity and